Hi, Rob here. Welcome to the IELTS Transformation Writing course. So this is a follow-on from our sentence types part 1, where we looked at what is a sentence, because we need to understand how to make a sentence and what a sentence is to help us understand what the examiners are looking for. So a lot of this knowledge is missing for a lot of people, which leads them to make mistakes further down the line. So this is part 2. We're going to look at complex sentences. So remember, here we're looking at the grammar range. So we're trying to show a mixture of sentences and a variety. We're not particularly focusing on accuracy, which is not making mistakes, using the correct grammar. Just a reminder, so for 7 and above, we need a variety of complex structures and frequent error-free sentences. 6, a mix of simple and complex sentence forms, some errors in grammar. 5 is a limited range of structures, and it attempts complex sentences, but these tend to be less accurate than simple sentences, so more mistakes. And a 4 is a very limited range of structures with only rare use of subordinate clauses. So let's get into it. A complex sentence is a subordinate clause plus an independent clause. So an independent clause is just a sentence that stands alone. Remember back, this could be just 2 words. I run. That's it. That is an independent clause. It doesn't need anything else. A subordinate clause or dependent clause needs something else. For example, if I say to you, when I first met you, then what? Now you're waiting. You're like, what happened when you first met me? So that's a dependent clause. It needs something else. When I first met you, that was a great day, for example. Remember, a clause is a subject and a verb, different to a phrase. Clauses and phrases. A clause has a subject and a verb within it. And remember, back, it's a subject and a finite verb. So a sentence can still be, I can. Can you swim? I can. That's it. That's all we need. Okay, so a subordinate clause, as I mentioned, when I saw her, plus, and there's the subordinating conjunction. So remember back again, a compound sentence has a coordinating conjunction, but a complex sentence has a subordinating conjunction. So this one shows us time. It's an adverb clause of time. Then we have an independent clause, I smiled. When I saw her, I smiled. That's it. Okay, so remember, it's not a particularly long sentence, but it's still complex. We have 3 types of subordinate clause. Okay, so you need to understand these and use them well. There is no option about that. So we've got much more detailed lessons about all 3 subordinate clause types. So you'll need to watch those in our other lessons. It's not an option, it's crucial. And here are the basics, okay? First of all, we have noun clauses. Now, a lot of people learn these, but they don't realize that they are learning them. So, for example, most language schools and teachers will talk about a reported speech. See, she said that she was coming. So, they don't usually tell you that's a noun clause, but it is. So you're already using them, probably, hopefully. Now we've got 5 types of noun clause. The first one is the noun clause as a subject. So you can see in this sentence, is the verb, the finite verb. What I believe is the subject. What I believe is, and following is, we need a complement. So again, watch our other videos on types of verbs, and if the verb has an object or not, or if the verb is followed by a complement, which gives more information about the subject. So anyway, what I believe is that a child's quality of life is directly influenced by the amount of time with his or her parents. We could equally swap it the other way around. That a child's quality of life is directly influenced by the amount of time with his or her parents is what I believe. So that could be the subject as well. So because it's a complement, we can swap it with the subject. So a noun clause as a subject. Now, I recommend that you use these because they're reasonably easy to make. And depending on your first language, if it's one of the Latin languages, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, you have the same structure in your language. So do this because you're showing more range. So in a sentence like, I like chocolate, we could change it to what I like is chocolate. And then you're making a complex sentence, which you want, lots of them. Although don't go too crazy, we just need some, that would be fine. This example here is another example of a noun clause as a subject. It is important that parents guide their child's intelligence and learning. So it is not really the subject, it's what we call a fake or a dummy subject. So actually the subject is that parents guide their child's intelligence and learning is important. So again, if you put that in your writing or speaking, that's going to be impressive. And so again, this is covered in more detail. It's it plus the be verb plus a complement, which is an adjective here. So it could be, it was important, it will be crucial, it has been vital that, all these different changes of tense, and we can change this word as well, will hopefully give you more flexibility. Again, we've got a detailed video on noun clauses, so watch that. Look, and here's what I was talking about before, reported speech. So she said that she was coming. That plus subject plus verb is the object, the direct object of this. So we need to have a better understanding of verbs, don't we? As you can see here. Because what is a subject? Subjects are nouns, pronouns, noun phrases, noun clauses, gerunds and infinitives, two infinitives. But here we need to understand what type of verb it is, and this is a transitive verb. So everybody has this idea, this concept in their language too. So you need to understand that. So a transitive verb takes a direct object. So that's what we have here. I think that teenagers working part-time helps them to learn to be more responsible. And it's the same as she said. She said that, I know that, I think that, I believe that. All of these are noun clauses with a direct object, or a noun clause as a direct object. Sorry. Then of course we've got transitive, direct object. Intransitive verbs have an indirect object, or we could call it the object of the preposition. So we spoke is a complete sentence, but if we want to add an object, then we need to add a preposition plus an indirect object. We spoke about what was expected of him. So you can see that there are different subordinating conjunctions. Again, that we're giving you a list of these. I was happy that my father made me work hard. So I subject was finite verb. Happy is a complement. It's an adjective in this case. And the noun clause here is an adjective complement. It's giving more information about the adjective. I was happy that my father made me work hard. I was surprised that blah, 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 blah. I was sorry that. All of these are noun clauses. So they're good. Use them. So that's noun clauses. Remember, a noun clause is a noun, but it's longer and it contains a subject and a verb. But its function is the same as a noun. And nouns are subjects and objects and complements. Okay. Next one is relative clauses. These are in red. Noun clauses in green. This is connected to our vocabulary book and our book about writing, which you will get a copy of. Faye, who left home when she was 18, went to live in Israel. So here we've got a comma and a comma. So we've got two types of relative clauses. A defining relative clause, in which the information, the relative clause, is essential to understand the sentence. And like this one, a non-defining relative clause, which gives more information about the noun, Faye. This is technically called the antecedent. Here's another non-defining, so this is extra information. The family went on holiday to Thailand in the rainy season, which was not a great choice. So again, more information about the sentence before. Okay, so, but these last two, the information is essential. Look, these are defining relative clauses. The teenager was not happy. What teenager? It's not enough information. The jacket was from the USA. Really? Which one? So who I met on the train and that I bought is enough information to complete the sentence, to understand it. So the first two are non-defining relative clauses. So as you can see here, these have commas. Notice the commas here. And the last two, no commas. Now you can't use that in a non-defining relative clause. I could have put that or which. The jacket which I bought was from the USA, the jacket that I bought. Okay. Finally, adverb clauses. So again, these relative clauses are adjectives. They do the same thing as adjectives. They describe nouns. Noun clauses are nouns, so they're subjects, objects, and complements. Adverb clauses are adverbs. They do the same thing. They talk about when and where and how. When the kids left home, the parents felt a little empty. Now, there's 5 types of noun clauses, 2 types of relative clauses, 8 types of adverb clauses. So this is a big group. And we have lots of different types of adverb clauses of time, cause and effect, condition, place, manner, other, and a couple more. Contrast. This is an adverb clause of time. It tells us when. When the kids left home, the parents felt a little empty. If you feel empty, you're not particularly happy. As teenagers like to sleep until lunchtime, family breakfasts don't happen as much. As here means because. That's an adverb clause of cause and effect. Although some kids are a bit disrespectful, there are plenty who respect their elders. So here, it's an adverb clause of contrast or concession to opposite ideas. Very important in IELTS. Important especially in the writing, task 1 academic writing, and especially in task 2, the essay. Because you always want to talk about the other side of the argument. Although some people say this, I think this. This is when you acknowledge the other side. And really, to get a band 7 or more, you need to do that to answer the question and show good grammar. So, a conditional adverb clause of condition. If a child grows up living with their grandparents in the house, they are more likely to realise the wisdom of the elderly. There you go. So, we need these. If we analyse your writing, or anyone's writing, and we put these sentences in colours, there should be lots of colour, as you can see in some of the materials we are sending you in this course. So, do that. Learn how to do them. Again, we have more videos on the important parts of this. Okay. Then we've got a compound complex sentence. Now, don't worry too much about this, really. But here they are. So it's when we have subordinate clauses. So, for example, when she arrived, and although she was a bit late, comma. So I've joined the 2 subordinate clauses with a coordinated conjunction. When she arrived, and if she was a bit late, comma, she still worked well. I think I have an example. If they come and if they behave, then I will forgive them. So we're just going to compare the types of sentences that you need to use now. Just looking at what it says for 6, a 7 and an 8. Mix of simple and complex sentence forms, which we've got here. So feel free to pause the video and look at that more carefully, but you can see we have a relative clause and an adverb clause of cause and effect. And we've got some simple sentences. Obviously there's no mistakes in here, so that's good. Just showing you the range here. Variety of complex structures. We're going to talk about complex structures in the next part of this. So I don't want to explain too much now, but as you can see, there's lots of green and red and blue. So that's good. Again, pause this to have a look more carefully. And for the 8, we need a wide range of structures. So that's the next step, really. So that's got more complex structures that we'll talk about in part 3. But again, pause and have a look to see if you can analyze this sentence a bit more carefully. So you've got to start to think about the types of sentences that you're using, analyze them carefully to help your understanding of what you're producing, both in your speaking and your writing. So if you want to practice your speaking, get your phone, record yourself doing a part 2 of a listening test. Write out what you've said, and you will be able to see, am I using some of these sentences or not? Or maybe I should use more. Okay, then I can practice how to use more in this situation. I must start some sentences with when and because and if. So practice that. Give yourself little games. Gamify this whole learning experience. Make it a game. It's more fun for you. And of course, as I've said before, pay attention. You need to pay attention to your vocabulary and grammar, and then pay attention to when you're using it and trying to use more range, more accuracy. And yeah, good luck with that. It's just a matter of raising your awareness. We want you to be able to be aware of what you need to do and then what you are doing, and then connect them. Okay. Got some more lessons, as I said. We've got sentence types part 3, noun clauses, relative clauses, and adverb clauses. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. I hope your learning is going well and that you're enjoying the course. There's a lot of information, so enjoy it. Thank you.